Seltzer Kings
podcasts.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Pretty knife, except the stabbing. I don't think I can do it. Jonathan has been a good friend to me here in Mexico. His head'll buy me a burro.
Oh, you can stab him. No, it's all part of the plan. That boy's blood is a powerful tribute. It's a gift to something very big, very important, and ultimately won't even hurt him. We get a reward, you and me and him too.
We live as gods.
That's right, man. The trio, living as gods.
We are gods, oh, we are gods. We're as gods, we are as gods.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Buffy. We're just two boys watching every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time, giving our review, our reactions. We're your hosts. I am Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today, we are talking about Season 7, Episode 16, titled Storyteller, directed by Marita Grabiak, written by Jane Espanson. Original air date February 25th, 2003, to an audience of 3.63 million people. And before we get into the episode, everybody, we got a couple of shout outs. And by a couple, I mean one. One singular shout out. Gotta give a big shout out to Michelle Malone. Michelle Malone supplying us with some more energy drinks with a note that said, "Thought you might need these for the back half of Season 7 with a little worried emoji face." Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Thank you so much, Michelle Malone. We really appreciate it. And if you want to get your very own shout out, Apple Podcast 5-star rating and review, Spotify 5-star rating, take a screenshot of it, send it in to us. Or get us something off of the wish list, which is what Michelle Malone did. And we are now inundated with energy drinks. It's taking up half of my refrigerator. I love it.
Boys.
Michelle was one of the donators to the Monster era, which we are sadly exiting today. Yeah. The last Monster energy drink. But we're moving on to a new horizon. We got new brands. We got them from Slytherin, Michelle Malone, Ari Targaryen. We are going to be moving on after this last Monster Zero Ultra. And we'll announce those. Speaking of moving on to bigger and better things, we're doing a little slow rollout of what the plan is post Buffy. Obviously, we're going to finish the series.
Wait, we didn't say that. We never promised that.
We're going to finish these last couple episodes. We're obviously going to do our recaps. And then we thought it'd be fun to do a couple of rewatches based on which ones we think are good. That would be poignant and cool to look back on, based on some that you guys might suggest. And we'll have a good old rootin' tootin' time with it.
Yeah. That's just one of our plans for the post Buffy series.
Yes.
So yeah.
We've got a big board, as Andrew would say.
Yes, we have a big board.
We've got a big board. It's full of plans. Some of them more concrete than others.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
But we've got a plan. And we think that a lot of the people that listen to this are going to be very happy about our plans.
Yes. Our plan is to retain 15% of listenership.
But part of our other future plans is to continue doing Angel, which is on Patreon. Patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy, where we do Boys Watching Angel, which... Yeah.
We asked for it to get weird, and it got weird.
If you listen to the Angel podcast, we a while ago were like, fuck it, like let Angel just go off the rails. It's going,
it's going,
man.
It's going.
Yeah. We also do Boys Watching Movies, where we will be releasing our summer catch episode, I think this week, and I'm gonna be real with you. That's one of the funnest podcasts I think I've ever done in my entire life.
It's up there with the Simply Irresistible and the Mr. Fix-It for me.
Yeah.
It's
that podcast is great.
And
podcast is great.
Yeah, that movie features a lot of the Boys Watching verse characters.
Yeah, man. It is it's a perfect storm of everything we've been doing.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
And one of our Discord members was an extra in the movie.
Yeah.
Marissa L.
Yep.
She's going to talk about her experience on set in Discord potentially and maybe give us some insight. But yeah, so be on the lookout for that. And of course on Patreon, there's also Joe's Fashion Report /Corner. I can't let anyone forget about that very, very incredibly popular video series where I break down the fashion of each episode.
Emmy nominated, I think.
Emmy nominated, maybe Pulitzer Prize. We're in talks. My people are talking to their people.
Pulitzer Prize? I didn't know they gave that to video segments.
The Patreon exclusive video segments about the fashion of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I mean, you already got 2 Saturn Awards, so yeah.
Yeah. So, we had a lot of people talk about Storyteller, saying that we were probably going to really enjoy this episode. I thought it was fun. I think the placement of it is a little odd.
Really odd. Really odd. But I think we're officially in the back half of this season. So.
Oh, we've been in the back half. We're fucking back half as fuck, dude. We got 6 episodes left after this one, I think. Yeah. And boy, we were told to stick around for the end credits. I did it. Did you?
I did it.
Yep.
I don't know if it was necessary for me.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun little Easter egg. I thought it was nice, but yeah.
It reminded me that I never stick around for the end credits.
Yeah. I was like, I have to click an extra button in order to stick around.
I don't have to turn the TV off in frustration like I do after every
episode of Angel.
But like you were saying, it did come at a weird time because I've complimented the show on balancing tone of being wacky and silly, but actually being serious and poignant. And I think this episode is one of those ones where the tone is a tough balancing act, especially after what we just saw last episode.
Exactly. We had First Date, which was kind of a fun, wacky, but also reveal some stuff.
Yep.
Great tone. I loved that episode. Then we had Get It Done, which was a much more serious, hey, fucking let's strap in. We are going to war. And then we have Storyteller, which is wacky, but then kind of ends up being a poignant thing by the end. But after last episode, you would think it's all business.
Yeah.
This is quite a detour from the business.
And we've been doing that a lot. Giles was like, hey, stop it. Stop it after First Date.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you get wacky. Then you get Buffy going ham on everybody.
Yeah.
And then now you just have Andrew in this episode.
Yeah, this is an Andrew-centric episode, which I've been talking about how much I like Andrew. I thought this was a fun storytelling, device. What he's doing. The only thing that it's just a weird placement in the season is all.
Yeah.
It's just a weird placement in the season. But let's get into it.
Mm-hmm.
So this opens up with a recap of basically who Andrew is in total, like his history as a member of the trio, Warren, Jonathan, him killing Jonathan, and then being like their quote unquote hostage. We also get a little recap about the potential slayers and Principal Wood and his whole backstory. Now, I think this was the longest recap that I've seen in the show.
Oh, man, we would have to time it. This one was, when it was starting, I was like, all right, we're doing all this again?
Yeah.
Jane, our girl Jane really does like the trio. Because if she's writing one, they're in it.
Yeah, because she wrote First Date, which Jonathan was in. Was he? Well, yeah, he was in that one. That was when they were trying to record the fucking First Evil.
But if you listen to Buffy last episode, it's like they haven't tried anything.
Yeah. So the episode opens up with shots of leather-bound books, a fireplace, classical music playing in the background that like dun, 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 and we pan around to see Andrew sitting on a nice leather chair in his little smoker's jacket, and he's wearing a shirt and tie, and he's like, well, he's like introducing the story like one of those old-timey shows that would do this, like, oh, adventure. Wouldn't you love to go on adventures? Let me tell you about the story of Buffy, the Slayer of Vampires.
Yeah.
He takes a hit of a pipe and he starts coughing and stuff. And as soon as I saw this, I was like, we're in for a ride here today, dude.
Yeah. I thought this was going to be the whole episode like this.
Me too. And Andrew is narrating this story of Buffy. And we cut to a scene of Buffy in the graveyard, and Andrew's narrating her actions, and a vampire starts attacking Buffy, and she gets into a quick little tussle with it and dusts him pretty quickly. But then another vampire shows up, and Buffy fights it, and Andrew's like, oh, and our dear hero Buffy did not expect the second vampire to show up, and now she is in peril. And then all of a sudden you start to hear a knock on a door, and Andrew in this leather chair starts looking around like, hold on, Harry, hold on, just a minute. And then it cuts to what's actually happening, because Andrew's not actually in this leather fireplace place. He's in the bathroom sitting on the toilet with a camcorder, just basically doing a selfie video, narrating what he saw Buffy do and like what Buffy does. And it's Anya who's knocking. She's like, how long are you going to be in there? What are you doing? And she opens the door and she's like, dude, what the fuck is this? You're recording yourself? He's like, I'm just trying to tell the story of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and all of her good deeds. It's important for the world to know. And I want to educate and inform and entertain. And then Anya goes, why can't you just masturbate like the rest of us?
Yep. Now, last week, we forgot to do the predictions. And this week, we almost forgot to do the predictions.
Oh my God, we almost forgot to do predictions. What was the predictions?
We did the predictions from last week on
I said
Angel.
Giles was coming back.
Yes.
I said Giles was coming back this episode, which was wrong.
Yes. And that Spike talks about killing Woods' mom was another thing that you said.
Yeah, no.
And I co-signed your Giles prediction. So, not much there. Yeah, I do have a correction. Yeah. I did say, one of the actors' names is Alexa in this, but I was having a confusion with the Angel show and was confusing a actress in the Angel show whose name is Alexa for Alexa, as thinking that might be Kennedy's name, the actress that plays Kennedy's name, but that is not her name. So, correction on my part for that. There's been some Discord follow-up too about something that we didn't bring up in our long episode last week, which was big chatter for the Buffy fans was, where did Spike get his coat from? How did he get his coat back? Which we didn't even think about, it wasn't even on my radar.
I feel like the Buffy fans would be happy with us because that's one of the ones where I just shut my brain off. I was like, whatever, he's got his coat.
Yeah. Maybe he left it at Buffy's house last time before he left to go get a soul. And I'm sure Buffy just brought a box of stuff to the basement at some point. That I can easily forgive.
Yeah. That one I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Mainly because I forgot about it.
What I can't forgive is people saying that the Slayer line goes through Faith.
Yeah.
Because apparently Joss Whedon said that in an interview at one point. So that's how that info got crossed. But the show has not stated that.
Yeah.
And it multiple times have stated otherwise.
Yeah.
One, the mayor thought if Buffy died, there'd be a new Slayer. Someone brought up that quote. And then also when Dawn thought that she was going to be a new potential, she says to herself, oh no, that means that Buffy would have to die for me to be the Slayer. No one corrects her. No one says that's not true. So the show didn't seem like it knew at this point that it was going to
well, I feel like we also got a little bit of shit for not knowing that from people in Discord in the past.
Yes.
But the show hasn't explicitly stated that. And it seems like it never does.
Yeah.
And if it's like corrected in an interview post the show being on, go fuck yourself.
The boys we can only judge what we see on the screen. We have not listened to interviews, and we appreciate
a lot too.
Yes, we appreciate the Discord information that we do get, because without Discord, we would get even less information.
Yeah, we'd still be wondering about those invitation rules.
Yeah, I still got some questions, but the Fate Slayer line thing.
Yeah, that's a little retconny.
Let's see how this all plays out in the next 6 episodes, but I don't know.
Next season and a half of Angel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dicey as fuck. Like, we've veered off from this episode, but that bugs me when people, like, after the fact, like, insert story plot that just wasn't in the show, and they're like, oh, that's because that.
Yeah. In
an interview later on. Like, when I feel like it happened in Star Wars, where it's like, oh, that little kid, that actually was this person who grew up to be that person. Yeah, sure, that's canon now. And it's like, no, it wasn't. You just said that in an interview, and now it's canon.
And this season feels like it doesn't want to answer to the questions, but it wants to ask them.
Well, Andrew asks a lot.
I know.
He asks a lot of great questions. Again, he's like the audience surrogate at this point who have little nitpicks about stuff. He's asking the questions fans have been asking for seasons at this point.
And he asked it right now to get back into this episode.
Yeah. So we go to Andrew, who goes back to that scene with Buffy in the graveyard, and Andrew was filming the vampire attacking Buffy and Buffy dusting it. And then after Buffy dusts it, she looks at Andrew. She's like, what are you doing? Why are you recording this? This is so annoying. And Andrew's like, I'm just getting it because I feel like people should know what you do. Like, this is important. I feel like, this should be something that people see. Also, why do vampires show up on video? We've asked this.
Yes.
Because they don't show up in Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie, which apparently is canon according to fucking some of these people, which I will never agree with.
But they also don't show up in mirrors and just the mechanics of videotaping stuff and images.
Yeah. Yeah. But in this Buffy, this Vampire Slayer universe, the TV show, that is canon. They do show up in pictures and video.
Do. And I understand him asking why.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
And you would think someone fighting vampires and curious about how all this works would be like, I wonder too. Nope. It's like, God, Andrew, you're so annoying.
Yeah. I think now also, I think I read somewhere that these days, vampires would show up in mirrors because the original reason why they didn't show up in mirrors is because they were like silver or something. And like, I don't think silver is in mirrors these days. And so they would show up in mirrors.
Yes. But they don't show up in mirrors in this world.
Yeah.
In present day Buffy. So,
but they show up in cameras which have mirrors in them.
Yeah.
All I'm saying.
I mean,
Andrew's Andrew's on to something.
I'm sure they were filming stuff. They had a picture. They used it for an episode, and they were like, "Oh crap, this kind of ruins that."
Yeah, Kralik.
Yeah,
Kralik taking selfies with Joyce.
yeah.
Still one of the best. I loved that, but that was so great.
And then he comes back as a whole nother character, that actor.
Yeah, man.
As Rack.
Yeah. But yeah, Andrew wants to do video of Buffy for historical purposes. He thinks that the world should know about what she's doing. And Anya, we go back to the house, and Anya's annoyed at Andrew for hogging the bathroom. And she's like, there's a whole line of potentials that need to take a shit. What are you doing in there? I also have to go to the bathroom. And Andrew's telling, like, this is important stuff that I think the world should see. And Anya's like, is it even really? This is pointless. Because Buffy's talking about how this is the apocalypse, and this time the apocalypse might actually happen, unlike all the 6 or 7 other apocalypse that were going on before. This time it's for real. And then Andrew plays up to Anya's ego, and he's like, well, okay, I mean, if you think it's pointless, I was just going to interview you and really get your side of the story, because I think that your perspective would be very interesting for this documentary that I'm doing, and we could use a little bit of like elegance and grace after all of Buffy's stuff. But if you think it's a bad idea, I guess I won't do that. And then Anya's like, well, if you do need some elegance and grace and a different side of the story, I'd be more than happy to do an interview for you, actually. And it's like, oh, Andrew, you great little son of a gun.
Yeah.
And it would totally work like that for Anya.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But we then go to Andrew in the basement doing he's got his big board. He's doing a little history of what's going on. And he's talking about, hey, like, this is the high school. This is where a lot of demonic activity happens. This is where Buffy works. This is where Principal Wood works. And a lot of the demonic activity is centered around here because the high school is built on top of a hellmouth. And he's like, this is where all the bad guys come from. It attracts bad people, and it sends bad people up, and it can sometimes manipulate good people into being bad. And this is, for example, the Turok Han came from this seal, the seal of and I was thinking about writing the name of it, but I was like, eh.
I was started to write it down just the way it sounded, and it would have made a line go down on my note.
Yep.
So I got rid of it.
Yep.
It just says Hellmouth Seal Ubervamp on my notes.
Yep. And he's talking about like how the Ubervamp, the Turok Han, came out of that seal from the Hellmouth, and he starts talking about like who the first is. The first is like the essence of all evil in the world. And also there's these guys, the Bringers. They're blind and ugly. And I was like, this is a nice he's doing a good job, but he's also like stuttering because he's camera shy and stuff like that, and he's nervous.
Who is this recap for? Like, it's fine, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's fine.
They're going to put that videotape in the emergency kit for future Slayers.
No, I meant just like watching the episode, not the,
who the video is for.
No, not who the video is for. I'm saying like this scene specifically. If you're watching the show and you're watching, I guess if you're not watching weekly and they took some breaks, maybe you need a recap, even though they recap the beginning of each episode to death. Yeah. It's just like in the beginning of this episode is another recap.
Yeah. It would have been great if Andrew was doing the recap. Previously on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be great.
But I liked his little drawings on his big board. He summarizes the story pretty succinctly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
So then Andrew goes upstairs and he's filming the potentials eating breakfast, and he's just like, oh yeah, look at all these girls. Any one of these girls could be the next Slayer. And they're eating breakfast. They got to have a good balanced breakfast to fight evil. And then Xander's like, Andrew, what are you doing? Like, what is this? And he goes over to Xander. He's filming Xander. He's like, and this is Xander. He's the heart of Command Central. He fluffs up Xander's ego a little bit. And he's like, oh, you think I'm the heart of this? Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. Spike shows up. He's like, oh, and this is our vampire. He's on our side. He used to do evil, but then he got a soul, and now he's a good guy. And Spike's like, get that fucking camera out of my face. I don't want to be filmed. And Buffy's there, and she's like, dude, stop with this stuff. And then Andrew's like, I just wanted to film some intros for all the characters in this documentary that I'm doing about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm just trying to get some intros. And then it cuts to his intros, which is cinematic glory.
Yeah.
He's like, this is our heroine, Buffy. She is kind, she is powerful, and she's beautiful, but does not mess around when it comes to taking down vampires. And the scene is like Buffy in this golden radiant light, and it's got a fan blowing through her hair as she's pouring cereal into a bowl, and she's like whipping her hair around.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Great jokey cinematography. And then Spike comes in. He's like, and this is Spike. Spike is shirtless, and he starts like going to kiss Buffy, and he's like, this is Spike. I'm not quite sure what their history is, he and Buffy, but there's definitely something happening between them. It's mysterious, but also it's tense. And then Anya rolls in, and she does like a full spin and hair whip. And he's like, and this is Anya, a former demon who now works with Buffy, and she's also on the side of good. And then he turns to a girl that we've never seen before. And he's like, and this is one of the potential slayers. I honestly don't remember her name or who she is.
When they panned over to her, I was like, who is that?
Yeah. But Buffy just sitting there eating cereal with the fan blowing through.
And Buffy and Spike look like the cover of a romance novel.
Oh, yes, they do. Like that fucking Fabio type stuff. And like, dude, the lighting is so warm and bright, and they got the saturation all the way up on that one. So funny. But then we cut out of that to real Buffy being super annoyed. And be like, Andrew, stop it. Stop. I said stop filming this. And then Rona is like, actually, I think this is actually pretty cool. It's pretty cool that he's recording this. I think this is important. I think that it's good for this. And the rest of the Scoobie crew is like, yeah, it's kind of harmless. I mean, he's actually doing something now. He wasn't doing anything. He was just, you're always bitching about how he doesn't do anything. In last episode, you said none of us are doing anything. So at least he's trying something. And Willow is like, or Buffy's like, no, I just think he's fucking annoying. And then Willow's like, actually, it's really helpful because he's filming the Slayer potentials training, and they can look at it, and it's like game tape, and they can, see where they fucked up. And Buffy's like, why isn't anyone on my side?
Yeah, it was at a point when they were doing the intros where I was like, didn't Buffy just say they need to start taking things seriously? And I'm happy they had her chime in here to kind of balance it out a little bit. Because I was like, this is weird that everyone was just milling around in the kitchen, hanging out like everything's cool after the way last episode ended.
Buffy is still consistent from the last episode. She is still like, I'm annoyed. We gotta, let's get down to business to defeat Tarakan.
She is consistent until a moment later in this episode where I was like very shocked by her response.
Yeah. But so then Buffy is like, I actually have some important news to tell people. And she starts to tell the potentials and the Scoobs in the kitchen about the vision that she had last episode. And this is where Andrew slinks away, and he's like, starts talking to the camera. He's like, oh boy, this is one of Buffy's famous speeches, and who fucking knows how long this thing goes, because Buffy has a tendency to talk for a long time. So while she's doing that, let me give you a little insight into who I am, your humble host. I have a dark past. I was once a supervillain. And I also want to, before we get into this, Buffy's telling the quote-unquote potentials about her vision. Last episode we saw there's like 15 to 20 potentials. This scene, it's just the important potentials where it's Rona, Kennedy, and Amanda in there. And she's like, all right, I'm going to tell all of you about this vision that I had.
Yeah.
The rest of the potentials, they can stay in the dark about
Yeah.
it. Buffy should like clang her pot and pan, like, class, gather round.
Yeah.
Here's what we're up against.
They filled up
But
the
now
whole
we'll just-
backyard last week.
Yeah. We'll just tell the 3 or 4 that get the most screen time. We'll tell.
Yeah. And the other hot one, the hot one that's in the kitchen eating cereal.
Yeah. That I'm not quite sure who this is.
He was filming Amanda and said, no, I don't want you.
Yeah. Amanda's like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Amanda. He's like, not you.
Like, Amanda's probably going to be the next one.
Mhm.
She's front runner.
Yeah. So, yeah, Andrew's going to introduce himself. He has a dark past. He was once a supervillain. And we get a flashback to the trio, but it's a reimagined version of the trio where Andrew is the mastermind. He's the leader, and Warren and Jonathan are his lackeys. And they look like 2 dorks. They got safety goggles on. He's looking at a bunch of like a chemistry set from 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's bubbling, and he's got a suit on, and he's like, gentlemen, I finally figured it out. The way to disassemble and disassociate these chemical compounds. He's just like using all these fluffy, big, giant words. And I thought that was a fun scene.
I think he says we figured out how to magnetize Buffy, the vampire slayer or something. And I love that their
She's not going to
goggles
be able to do anything.
I love that their goggles like leave marks on their faces on Warren and Jonathan.
Yeah. But yeah, they're like, yeah, if we magnetize her, she won't be able to get out of her car. You're a genius, Andrew. I know. I am the mastermind. So then it comes back to reality. And Andrew's still talking to the camera, and he's like, so that's who I am. Let's see if Buffy's still talking. And he turns around, and Buffy is still talking. He's like, oh, man, this is going on for a while. And then it goes over to Willow, who walks away, or Willow's standing by the door, and he's like, man, even Willow looks bored, and she's got the highest tolerance for all of Buffy's long speeches. But what do we have here? Kennedy comes over and starts to like just overtly and outwardly like rub up on Willow's arm and like flirty and stuff. And Andrew's like, yeah, that's Kennedy. She and Willow are an item. They had a little bit of a tiff recently, but it seems like they're doing better.
This is the beginning of the end for me. Right here. Kennedy, chill the fuck out. This is during Buffy's speech.
Right?
Buffy's telling you how the world is about to end and what she saw. And she's like, this is boring. Hey, Willow.
Yeah.
And Willow's like, oh, thanks. Hey, I know this really traumatized Buffy last episode when I talked to her. Hey, let's just flirt and canoodle together while this is happening.
I was shocked that Kennedy had the gall while Buffy's laying out like, I think we're all going to die. I'm worried. I turned down this power from the Shadow Men. I think that I might have did something wrong. I think I made the wrong decision. And Kennedy's like, well, those freckles are looking especially lickable right now. I got to go over there. Cross in front of Buffy, who's still talking.
Right?
How fucking rude, dude.
What? And mind you, this is an episode after someone hung themselves? Hanged themselves?
Oh boy, it's hanged. It's hanged, Vance. Vance, don't you ever fucking forget it's hanged.
After a potential killed themselves.
There we go.
Yeah. This is happening the next day.
Yeah.
This is...
Well, who knows if it's... I
mean, not the next day, but like, it's not that much time. That shovel's still wet with dirt.
Yeah, maybe it is next day, because how long do you think Buffy would have held that vision secret in?
Is it? Why does she keep calling it a vision? Didn't she go there?
It is a vision.
She dived. Well, she dove through a portal, right?
No, when the Shadow Man touched her face. Yeah,
got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it has to be within a week of burying Chloe.
Just a lot.
There's a time and a place, Kennedy.
Yeah.
Now is not the time. A foot away from Buffy is not the place.
Is this in the same scene where Buffy tells Amanda and Dawn not to go to school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Buffy is Amanda's mom now.
Why is Amanda living there?
This is during the school year, dude.
I have more school stuff to say, but I'll say it when it's time to say it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, then Andrew's like, yeah, that's Willow. She's a powerful witch. In fact, I actually had a little run-in with Willow when she was super dark and going on like a killing spree and mega powerful. Then we get a flashback to a scene where Dark Willow was attacking Jonathan and Andrew. And it's the exact scene, but now they've recut it.
Yeah, in the magic box, yeah.
Yeah, where she's like, oh, you like magic? All right, well, here's a little bit of magic. And then she shoots those two like dark energy beams at Andrew and Jonathan. And Andrew just goes, repello. It's
great.
Jonathan gets flung backwards, but Andrew's just like, repel. And it stops Dark Willow, and she's like, oh, okay, so I see you know a little bit of magic as well. Maybe that barrier is a little bit more powerful than I remember, or more powerful than I expected. And I think that they did have a barrier that protected them when she was doing this in the magic box.
They did, yeah. Did she say barrier in this scene?
Yeah, because it's the same scene with Willow.
Yeah. Oh, they just use that same... Oh, they just use the exact same dialogue, yeah.
Yeah. And then Willow goes, well, I guess I'll just have to up the magic. And then she shoots another laser beam at him. And Andrew just goes, enough, Willow. And just like shoos away. Just like bitch slaps away Willow's stuff.
Yeah.
And she's just like, look, I know that we have dark magic. You think that you're a dark magic user. I am a dark magic user as well. And it was so funny, man.
Do you think that Willow used a forget me spell on Kennedy? Is that why they're back together right now?
She must be using one every night because she shoved a gun in Kennedy's face. She turned into a man. She had a fight where she zapped Kennedy's energy, and Kennedy was like, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Who knows, man?
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, then Andrew's back in real time. He's like, oh, Buffy, stop talking. All right, cool. It's finally, it's time to like do some more documentary filmmaking. So Buffy goes to school, and there's a fight in the hallway. It's breaking out between two kids, and they're just like shoving each other, and Buffy goes in, and she breaks it up. She's like, hey, stop it. Everybody stop fighting. And then the two guys that were fighting go their separate ways. Buffy turns around and sees a girl, and the girl is like, does anybody see me? Does anybody even know I'm there? And she starts disappearing. And Buffy's like, oh, God, not this again.
I can't believe that's been a running gag in
this
show.
This is like the third or fourth time they referenced it in this season.
Yeah, they referenced Invisible Girl the first episode of this season.
Yeah, when Dawn's going to the new high school.
Yeah.
And I think that they reference it another time in like one of the other episodes between that first episode and now. So
was that a popular episode? I thought it was like a lost in the ether. Yeah.
But Buffy sees this girl disappearing. She's like, oh no, not this again. I know what this is. So she runs over and she's like, no, I can see you. Hi, you're not disappearing. And then she keeps disappearing. And then we have a little bit of a remaster issue because Buffy, I could see the girl's hair where Buffy was like, when Buffy slaps this girl, Buffy goes and slaps this girl to make her realize that like, oh, you do exist. But you can see Buffy just stop right before the girl's face. in
Yeah.
the little remaster. That's all I'm saying. Nice little remasteration.
I didn't know what that was exactly. If it was an effect thing. I just know it was like a sound effect, and she did a fake slap that wasn't close to where the person was. But yeah.
Yeah. But then this breaks the girl out of her spell of being invisible, and Buffy's like, okay, yeah, no, if you ever think that you're unseen, I see you. Come to me, come talk to me, because I am here for you. Then some girl comes out of the bathroom and she's like, the mirror told me that I was fat. And Buffy's like, what the fuck is going on?
Was that a reference to an episode?
Yeah, I couldn't think so.
I couldn't pull that one from anything.
Yeah, I didn't remember the mirror being evil in any episode, but that also was like 2.5 years ago at this point. Look.
Yeah, we remember everything now.
I've got a pretty deep knowledge of Buffy at this point, but it's a little dicey at times. So maybe that was a reference. I don't know. I mean, didn't that happen that happened this year, actually? Remember when Buffy was looking in the mirror at the first episode?
Yeah. That was I never understood that episode with who made that talisman.
Yeah. Yeah, there were people in the mirror in that episode, I think.
They were all like dead people that she was seeing, like ghosts of dead people, and they had to break a talisman.
Yeah, there was no mirror body shaming episode,
No,
though. I don't remember.
I don't think so. I mean,
but yeah.
I love that Buffy was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to slap this invisible girl. That'll solve the problem. Yeah. When in doubt, hit him.
I was going to say, suppress it and break its neck, break her neck. If a stake through the heart doesn't work, just break a neck.
Yeah.
So Buffy sees that girl word that the mirror called her fat. Then she turns and she sees some nerd guy freaking out about homework and exams and stuff. And I didn't know if that was a reference to an episode.
This is a reference to something. This is a reference, but I couldn't put my finger on like exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like who had an energy thing that was like getting out of control.
Yeah. I don't remember that episode. But so Buffy's like, this shit is getting crazy. She goes into the office and Principal Wood's got like a little like ice pack on his head, and Buffy's like, yo, something's going on here, man. Like shit's really ramping up. And he's like, tell me about it. I got out of my car and I got hit. Somebody threw a rock at me. And Buffy's like, yeah, like I said, stuff's really getting whack. And he's like, yeah, then they threw 2 more rocks at me. I dodged them, but like, what the hell is going on? And they're talking about, and then Buffy's like, yeah, the Hellmouth has been really active. The Hellmouth is really, really activating and making everybody act really crazy. And they're saying this out loud, like 2 feet away from a secretary at a desk.
Yeah, aren't they at the receptionist desk?
Yeah. Like the way that this is framed, you see like an older lady, and it's like Principal Wood is sitting at her desk.
Yeah.
Then Buffy's like, comes in, she's like, yeah, vampiric activity, Hellmouth, demons, all this stuff. I'm like, does this lady know? Is she like a secret watcher?
So you got hit in the head with 3 rocks as the principal of a school and you just walked in?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't.
I was trying to remember if that's a reference to. No. Is there a rock demon? I don't remember the rock demon.
There were these like werewolf type hyena kids that wanted to eat me.
Oh man, that would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, their eyes turned yellow.
Oh, yeah.
One of them tried to rape somebody.
They told it to an older man who knew but didn't tell the girls that he knew.
Yeah, he just swept that under the rug. Nobody apologized for that. Which, yeah, I was on all of your sides. Should have apologized for that.
I'm on Xander's side of like not bringing that up. They know.
I think he could have apologized.
Him apologize. Him apologizing for being under the hyena spell is like they know.
Yeah,
they know it wasn't like him. It wasn't like he did it while it was himself.
I mean, it's kind of like the Angelus dichotomy where like
but that's also one of those. Well, that's one where he remembers both sides all the time. Like
Xander.
Xander remembers it, but I just think him bringing that up to them wouldn't be like, oh, now we're relieved. You apologizing about almost raping us. Now we feel safer. It's like, no, dude, you just don't have to bring that up. Like that's like, it's like Buffy having to apologize again for kidnapping them and locking them in the basement every time. Like it's like, yeah, we know. Let's just kind of move on.
Yeah. So
because they think he doesn't remember it. So him saying it actually makes it worse because now they know that he knows that they know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, when they framed this and they're just out loud talking about the Hellmouth and at this lady's desk, I was a little bit like Andrew's like, hey, is we going to have any secrets here anymore? What about our big board? But yeah, Buffy's talking.
You are loving doing his voice.
I mean, it's a good, easy voice to do. Hey, I love doing Principal Wood's voice. He's a vampire.
He's a vampire.
So Buffy's talking about like, hey, I think war might break out because of the Hellmouth. Like, there's going to be a riot. Like, these kids are unruly at this point, and I'm worried that something bad's going to happen. And then as she says that, blood and guts just splatter all over their window, and they just kind of look at it, and they're like, huh, no. Yeah, I guess something bad might be happening. Well, and it's that nerd guy, like exploded.
Yeah, there's like the nerd guy was like, oh, I feel like I'm gonna explode, and then she was like, he should get a foot rub while you're out there. Somebody should rub his foot or something, and that's definitely a reference to something. I don't
remember that either.
I don't remember that, but then they go in there, and she's like, being in high school can feel like war, and then the kid explodes. And then Buffy quips, like, someone should have rubbed his foot.
Yeah.
And I was like, seriously? That's the reaction to a kid exploding in the hallway.
Yes.
You yelled at everyone when the first had someone killed or had that girl kill herself. This kid just blew up in the hallway. And you're
legitimately,
like,
his blood splatters all over their window.
Do they close the school at this point? Because in my notes in bold, it says close the school. You're talking like, yeah, the Hellmouth's getting crazy. I told my sister not to come to school today. But all these other kids, fuck them.
Midterms, man.
Shut the school down.
Can't. It's midterms.
Shut the school down. It is Sunnydale. You can just be like, emergency. And they'll be like, yeah, sure.
These kids need guidance from Buffy, Vance.
They won't make it through the day. One was about to become an invisible assassin for the government. That actually would have been her best career move.
Dude, you know how like we keep talking about, you know, whenever they reference something multiple times in a season, that do you think that invisible girl's coming back? They've referenced her a bunch of times. Maybe she's going to be the savior.
You think she's going to come back and be like the person that kills the first, just stabs the first in the back?
You just see a floating knife in the back.
They just love the idea that someone can be ignored so much that they become invisible. Don't know how that girl got ignored in that busy hallway, but sure. But a kid exploded. A kid exploded.
Yeah. A kid exploded. Like, that's so disgusting. Like, there's kids with his entrails splattered all over them. That's so insane. And then they just kind of react like, huh, another day at Sunnydale High.
Told you the Hellmouth be crazy. Hellmouth be crazy, y'all. Like, what? Like, tonally, you got to balance that out. It just doesn't balance here.
Like, I mean, and Principal Wood's reaction, all he does is just kind of like raise an eyebrow, like, huh?
Oh, Principal Woods is on one this episode, man.
Dude.
He is like quipping and joking around way too much. I'm like, wait, you just found out a vampire that killed your mom. Like, are you okay?
He also does this thing that I hate that people do where he like throws in a self-compliment.
Mm-hmm.
He's done that like 2 or 3 times at this point.
Oh my God. Yeah, he is really like, well, incredibly handsome and charming.
Yeah. Yeah, like he's like, yeah, I got hit by a rock. And Buffy's like, oh my God, that's crazy. He's like, luckily I'm dashing and daring enough to dodge the other two. Wouldn't want to mess up this handsome face. And then Buffy's like, okay.
Yeah. Yes. I was like, you're now flirting hard with Buffy. Like, it's...
Right? I think he's flirting with himself.
Well, he was flirting with the receptionist until Buffy showed up.
Yeah. Principal Wood is fucking slinging dick all around.
That's the next episode. Someone jealous of Buffy with him tries to kill him. Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, dude, I could not. When I saw that like goopy guts just on the window, I'm thinking about anyone that saw that. Like, because that kid was standing close to a bunch of people when Buffy first sees him. He's talking to like 2 or 3 kids, and he's like, I can't handle this. I can't handle this. And his last line is, I can't handle this. I'm going to explode. So obviously was talking to someone in his vicinity.
Yeah, no,
that person has
the hallway's full of people.
Intestines just like running down his face. And Buffy's like, should have got a fucking massage. That's not the happy ending I was thinking about. Or like, like, Jesus Christ, dude.
That's the school counselor.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But anyway.
The #1 selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
At Sierra, discover joyous deals on great gifts for everyone on your list. Like cozy slippers, ski gear, fishing poles, bikes, large kayaks, even larger canoes. Whew, which might lead to another discovery. Wrapping gifts is the only sport you need to stay fit this season. 'Tis the season to discover great gifts at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
So then we go to Andrew, and Andrew's interviewing Dawn. And he's like, this is Dawn. She's the beautiful but scrappy younger sister of Buffy. And Dawn's like, Andrew, that's so nice of you, Andrew. And he's like, yeah, she's some kind of magical key. I don't really know what that means, but it's something.
He said she used to be a key.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
She used to be a key. I don't know what that really means, but yeah, that's that. And oh, wow, everybody, this is something that you're going to want to see. And he pans over to Kennedy and Willow just making out hardcore on the couch. And Andrew's narrating. And he's like 3 feet away from them. And he's like, oh my God, isn't this beautiful? This is absolutely stunning. And he zooms in on the window and he goes, Xander's carpentry is just immaculate. Xander does such a great job at replacing these windows. It's so good. And he does it so fast. Meanwhile, Kennedy and Willow are still just like making out. Like,
there are some hookups happening in the Summers household that is full of teen girls that doesn't make any sense to me. Dude. For a place that should be like wall to wall. Did they fix a hole in the ceiling upstairs?
I guess so, man. That hole that Spike got thrown through, yeah. Did they fix the wall between Buffy's old room when Spike ripped Andrew through that wall?
Yeah, I guess.
There's so many holes in this place.
Is Xander still going to work, or is he full-time at the Summers household?
It seems like he's full-time at the Summers household. Like he like comes in his pajamas to eat some cereal in that one scene. He's living there now.
Yeah.
Couldn't he have some of those potentials at his place? His place is big.
Mm-hmm. No, but I guess they all need to like stay in a place where that can blow up, like they blew up the Watchers.
Yeah, they need to be in a place where the first evil has infiltrated numerous times. You're right.
Someone brought up on Discord it's about that, and it's like, yeah, they blew up the Watchers' headquarters. Why can't they blow up the Summers' home?
Plot.
Yep.
Because plot.
Yeah. Like, they're all in one convenient place.
Yeah.
Just have all of them go to that gun shop and get all the guns, and then just stand outside of the house and just randomly start shooting. You're going to get some of them. You're going to get some of them.
I mean, they're not above gun violence.
No.
Jonathan's whole thing. He was like, she already brought a gun.
Yeah.
Like, Andrew, go get the gun.
Yeah. Literally, just stand at the front door, wait for them to walk out and just shoot. Like, it's not even, like, I don't know if you remember, but those things aren't good for anything, though. No.
Just killed one of the main characters.
Yeah.
Any hoozle. But, so then we go to Principal Wood and Buffy looking at blueprints of the school, and they talk all about the stuff that Buffy's been through when she was in high school, and she's talking to Principal Wood like, yeah, I'm seeing some echoes of the past shit that went down at the Hellmouth. Like, I saw a girl turn invisible, saw a bunch of fights breaking out. And then I saw she references one other thing.
She references like, swim monsters and the killer prom dogs.
Yeah. And Principal was like, all that happened at this high school? And she's like, yeah, it was spaced out over 3 seasons, but it didn't all happen all at once like it is now.
Don't you know this because you already knew about my history when you showed up here in the first episode of the season?
Yeah, Mr. Principal. I'm stripping you of your title, Mr. Wood.
Yeah.
You should know this. You maneuvered all of this to get on top of the Hellmouth.
I'm a little more pissed off at the Scoobies, though, because they live in Sunnydale, and they watched a new school be built on the Hellmouth. And Xander did it.
Helped make it happen.
Did you guys not say, hey, let's try to stop this? Let's bring in something. Let's maybe protest and not have a school built on top of the Hellmouth?
Call up some lawyer that can do the bureaucracy of like, not in my backyard type of shit.
The Watchers have so much control. That was like the only thing they had was bureaucratic control. Could you get them to rezone and be like, sorry, you can't build it here? Just anything. Like, don't build a school on this.
Yeah, man.
Build a church on top. Build like a giant mega church on top of it.
Yeah, and that church would probably start floating. It'd be like magnets putting like the same end at each other.
It'd be like it's weird. Floating. I think it would be like this weird balancing force of like a church on top of a Hellmouth, and it's like they're just constantly fighting and nothing would happen.
That would make the priests evil, and you know what happened when priests get evil, you know what I'm saying? The joke that shall not be joked. But like, even if like, so that would be a good idea to put a church on top of it, though, because then they just have like an infinite supply of holy water.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that would cancel each other out.
At least it wouldn't be a building full of children.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And we already know what happened last time when they were doing this.
Yeah.
We've seen this story play out before.
Yeah. This episode's already getting long. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
We got
Buffy
so much more of this episode.
Buffy suspects that it's something to do with the seal in the basement. She's like, we got to cover that up. We got to do something about that seal in the basement. And she starts calling Principal Wood.
Why haven't they? Why haven't they at least locked the door?
Yeah. Also, I think Buffy at this point starts calling Principal Wood Robin. And I don't like that.
Yeah, she does call him Robin.
She starts calling him Robin for like a majority of this episode. Number one, he doesn't look like a Robin to me.
Well, that's his name, so, I mean, that's not up to you.
I know, but I don't think he looks like a Robin.
You think all the other characters look like their names?
Yeah.
Even though they're not their names?
Robin is too soft of a name for this guy. They need to have given him a different name.
I don't think you understand how hardcore Robin Hood is. So.
Robin Wood, Robin Hood. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, Robin Hood's cool.
Yeah. So Robin.
Sexy ass little fox from Disney.
Well, of course you go with the animated version, even though there's been multiple live action versions.
What are we gonna do? Men in Tights with Dave Chappelle? What we talking? Was it Kevin Costner, the one that flopped so hard at the box office?
There was also one with the guy who was in The Kingsman.
Yeah, Taron Egerton.
Yeah.
Wasn't Russell Crowe in one too?
I think so, yeah. There has been multiple live action versions.
Yeah. I feel like the Fox one's the most iconic, though. Errol Flynn, the original.
Live action. There's live action
Original
versions.
Yeah. Anyway, so we go to Andrew interviewing Anya and Xander. And this is less of an interview and more of a therapy session.
It's more of a Maury Povich, like Ricky Lake, like one of those type of.
Yeah, less trashy Maury. Like a Dr. Phil. Dr.
Phil got real trashy though too. But yeah.
Oh boy, did he.
Yeah.
But he's interviewing them and he asks Xander about like, well, it's actually interesting that we're doing this interview today on the 1-year anniversary of you leaving Anya at the altar. Xander, how do you feel about that?
How does Andrew know that?
Yeah, right? And Xander's like, whoa, I didn't think this interview was going to be about this. And then Anya just turns to him. She's like, yeah, Xander, how does that make you feel? How do you feel about it? And Xander's like, I mean, I feel bad, but I've already, how many times can I apologize for this? Like, I've apologized a bunch. Like, it wasn't the right thing to do. I'm sorry, but I thought that it was what was best for us.
He didn't say it wasn't the right thing to do.
He did say like I was acting in what I thought was best for both of us. And Andrew's like, really interesting. Anya, how do you think that? How did that make you feel? And Anya's like, well, I don't know. I just think that we still have a spark. Obviously, Xander, wouldn't you say that we still have a spark? And Xander's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, we do. And Andrew's sitting there with his legs crossed. He's like, And then Anya's like, and I mean, I still kind of think that I feel like you still love me. Am I wrong? And Xander's like, dude, what the fuck kind of interview is this? Yeah, I still love you. Yeah. But like, it's complicated. Like, you can't tell me that this hasn't gotten complicated. And then the scene kind of cuts off from there. And I was like, whoa, is this how they get back into this?
Well, I do want to just harp in a key moment in this, that Xander does say that it was the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. That, like, she's like, oh, well, you know that it was wrong. He's like, no, it was the right thing to do. I would have done it again. Like, I would have left you at the altar again because it was I still felt like it was the right thing to do. I couldn't marry you. Like, he's apologizes for hurting her for having to leave, but he still believed it was the right decision to make.
And you know where I stand on this.
Yeah.
I am full-fledged Team Xander.
I think it was fine for him not to go through with the marriage. I think abandoning and like disappearing for 3 days afterwards is really bad.
Like Jesus. Yeah. That's bad.
But I mean, he is such a holy person.
He is the Christ symbol in the show.
He is the heart of the group.
He is. Absolutely.
Yeah, but no, I mean, nothing changed on that part of him like leaving. Like,
yeah. So Buffy and Principal Wood go down into the basement and they want to cover up the seal. They want to do something, but they've already covered it up a couple times, but it appears that the seal does not want to be covered. It keeps becoming uncovered. So I guess that's why they can't do it.
Oh, did they say that? I don't know. I'm like, throw some cement into that room, like, or something.
Yeah, do a salt circle around it. That usually works, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that they say, like, we have covered this up, but it keeps getting uncovered.
Yeah, they keep covering up with what, like dust and sand?
Yeah, dirt. Yeah. Jonathan's dead corpse.
I'll bury you next to the seal with everybody else.
So then Buffy tells Principal Wood about the vision that she had about the Turok-Hans. And Principal Wood's like, well, maybe we should inspect this seal a little bit closer. Have we ever really taken a closer look at it? And he jumps down and gets right on top of it to inspect it. And Buffy's like, I don't know. Willow said that maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe that's not a good idea to get so close. And then Principal Wood is like, yeah, but can you really trust Willow? I mean, can you trust any of your friends? Can you trust anybody? All of you have turned evil at some point. And in my head, I went, well, Xander did turn into a hyena. So yeah, never mind.
We just went on a tangent about that.
Yeah. And Buffy's like, well, yeah, I guess so. But I mean, I haven't turned evil. And I was like, bullshit.
Yeah.
You tied up everybody in a basement and tried to kill him with a demon.
Yeah.
And then Principal Wood, he's like, well, since everybody around you turns evil, I figure it's my turn to do that now.
He goes, you're screwing that vampire, you whore.
Yeah, his voice turns deeper and his eyes are all white and he's like, I know you've been fucking that vampire, you whore. And then Buffy's like, Principal Wood, snap out of it. She just slams his head under the concrete. And it knocks the evil out of him. And he's like, whoa, what happened? I don't remember a thing. Sure you don't, Principal Wood. Sure you don't. And then Buffy's like, the person that first opened this seal, we need to talk to. We know somebody that opened this, so we got to talk to. We have the source, and it's Andrew. And then a pig runs by, and Principal Wood goes, God, I hope that's not a student.
I mean, I could appreciate that in like a different...
Good line. Funny line.
I could appreciate that in a different episode, a different time. It's no way there's a pig still down there in that room.
Yeah.
I know it's from like the Andrew who tried to kill the pig, it ran away, and we got this, but no way. I get it. It's fine. There's something. Is there something else when I'm looking at the map and he's like, it's a little something-y, and she's like, you're talking like I'm talking.
You're starting to talk like me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
So then Andrew is doing his like little talking head interview with Spike, and Spike is like, why don't you saw it off with that camera? I told you don't be pointing that thing in my face. And then he flicks a cigarette at the camera. And then Andrew goes, oh, actually, you start to get a little backlit. Could you back up a little bit? And Spike's like, oh, you want me to back up? Okay, sure. Take 2. I told you get that sodding camera out of my face. I told you to get out of here with it. And I was like, oh, that's a funny little.
That's great. That's good. It's very on brand for Spike, you know?
Yeah. Very nice little aside of just like Spike acting like he doesn't want to be interviewed. Yeah. But then he's like, all right, sure. I'll fucking, if I'm going to be interviewed, I want to look good.
Yeah. I mean, he was jealous of Dracula's fame.
Oh, yeah. Dracula. Anyway, so then we have a little hidden cam situation where Andrew left his camcorder to spy on Anya and Xander as they have like a big relationship talk. And Anya's grilling Xander about their relationship. And Anya's like, Xander, answer me. Like, do you still love me? I have a feeling that you still love me. And I just, just tell me that you still love me. And Xander's like, I do. And I always will. But like things have gotten complicated. And like, I don't even know if that means anything anymore. Like, I mean, do you still love me? And Anya's like, well, yeah, I do still love you. But who knows if that means that we can still be together? Like, I don't even know if that, I don't know. And then Xander kind of has like a moment of like insecurity of like, yeah, well, you know, you could find like a million other me's. Like, it's hard to replace you in my mind. Like, I can't replace you. You're so special and one of a kind. And Anya kind of reassures him like, no, there's no way I could ever find another you. You're like the one guy. Like, we love each other. And I was like, oh, wow. And then it cuts to Andrew reviewing the footage.
Mhm.
And Andrew is mouthing all of Anya's parts and acting like it's Xander saying this to him, but he's acting as Anya. And he like rewinds it and he's like replays the scene. He's still mouthing all of Anya's parts. And I was like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be a turn for, I don't know. Yeah.
It was kind of creepy, voyeuristic type stuff.
I'm going to say, I don't know if Andrew's going to hook up with Dawn.
Yeah, I don't know about that prediction,
about
Vance.
that one.
I think that might be a big swing and a miss.
He's going to be too focused on Xander's handiwork on the windows than anything else.
Yeah, he's fallen pretty hard for Xander at this point. But so while he's mouthing Anya's part in this real life scene, Buffy shows up. He's like, oh, let's do it. I'm not doing anything. And Buffy's like, hey, we need your help. You've been asking all this time. If you can help, how can you help? We finally figured out a way. You're going to help me and Principal Wood. We're going to go to that seal and you're going to tell me all about it. And Andrew's like, can I help in a different way? I don't really know if that's a good idea. And Buffy's like, it's the only idea. You're helping us. Shut up. And he's like, okay. And then we cut to a group of students who are like mindlessly zombified. It's like 5 or 6 of them, and they gather around the seal and they start chanting and they get on their knees and they start like, worshiping the seal a little bit, and it starts glowing.
A question I had is when Principal Wood eyes went white,
Yeah.
when his eyes went white, that's just the Hellmouth controlling him or something? Like, is this just like Hellmouth stuff? Because this isn't the first evil.
Yeah, I think this is just Hellmouth stuff.
Okay.
But I guess the presence of the first evil is ramping up its activity?
They gotta lock that. They just need to blow that room. I don't know what the hell they gotta do, man. I mean,
Buffy,
they do
get that rocket launcher again.
Yeah.
We know you still got it. We saw it this season.
A kid blew up and they just casually went downstairs and quipped like, hope that's not one of the students. That's a pig.
Yeah.
A pig is better than blown up.
Yeah, you could reverse a pig.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Dude, I will not get over that reaction to that kid exploding. It's so insane to me.
Someone posted like the fittingly the Buffy looking at the swim team when they started raping their coach. And her reaction.
These kids love their coach.
Yeah. She is flipping at times, but that one was one of those like the coach has screwed her over. He's a bad guy. Yeah. You're saying that line is dark, but it's whatever. This is just like a random kid blew up.
Yeah. A kid that you were worried about as of like 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
You rescued the girl turning invisible just in time for her to get blood and guts splattered all over her.
You know, it'd be funny if they both like looked at each other, her and Principal Wood, and they were like, I'll get the shovel. You see the receptionist's eyes darting back and forth like, what the fuck?
I know that they weren't a thing back in 2003, but they're all going to need a mental health day. Oh my God. You want to get the shovel or is it my turn? Turn? Wait, how many times has this happened?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, Buffy's buried Annabelle and Chloe. Principal Wood buried Jonathan.
Which they don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Andrew does not know that Jonathan's body is. Andrew hasn't even asked the question, like, what happened to Jonathan's body? Because I left it on this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. So anyway, we then get a flashback to Mexico in 2002, where Andrew and Jonathan are, and they're trying to sleep, and they hear chanting. They have visions of the Turok Khan, and they wake up and they're pissing their pants. They're all scared.
Yeah.
They've been having the same dream, and it's in a different language. And Andrew tries to replicate. He's like, "Isn't it creepy when that thing was like, I'm gonna
Wasn't it crazy when we had the dream of the Buffy recap?
Yeah. So they're like, we got to figure out what that chanting means. Like, I got to figure it out. And we're hunted men by forces that we don't even understand. We're evil. We're super villains. And then Jonathan gets self-conscious about it. He's like, well, I wasn't even that evil. Why am I getting these visions? And Andrew reassures him. He's like, you were totally evil. You were so evil. And Jonathan's like, really? And Andrew's like, yeah. And then we cut back to present day, and what's happening is Andrew is recounting the story of what happened to them and how he first came into contact with the first evil, and because Willow has a Himalayan salt lamp in front of him.
Right? Like when I saw that, they have used all kinds of crystals and glowing orbs and stuff. In season 7, they whip out a Himalayan crystal. Like
I've got two of those in my house right now.
I have one of them, and I was like, "That's all she's holding." I guess
I didn't know.
I guess in 2002 it would have been more rare.
Yeah, I guess.
But
so.
Seeing it now, it was just like they just went down to the store and got it.
Joe Rogan has a couple of those on his set. Is that how he gets the people sit still for 3.5 hours?
Joe Rogan has salt lamps on his set. Ugh.
At least he used to. Yeah, but I got 2 in here.
Yeah,
I got one in the room that I'm recording. I got one in my living room
because you're a crystal boy.
I just think they look nice.
What are they trying to do with this thing? Is he supposed to put his memories into it? What are they doing?
I don't know why couldn't they just ask him?
Yeah, I don't understand what Willow's doing with it.
Because we've seen when Giles mind wipes Buffy in the Kralik episode, he's using like a blue crystal, and he's like stare deep into this crystal, and it kind of like makes her catatonic enough for him to start drugging her.
Yeah,
but I don't know why they're using this crystal.
Why aren't they just like, hey, tell us what happened?
Like, yeah, because it's not like he still goes off topic, and he still like rambles about weird stuff, and it's also unreliable narrator situations too, where he's putting his own spin on it.
I do love that he asked for a Zima, which is
yes, they're like, we want to know about the seal, and he's like, it's like, all right, well, can I at least get a cool and refreshing Zima? No Zima.
We're gonna have to add Zima to Zima. We're gonna have to add Zima to the wish list.
Those are all yours, Vance.
They're yours.
They're alcoholic. I don't drink.
What would Zima taste like again? Grapefruit? I forget.
I don't know. I know that. I think they were lemon because my mom fucking loved Zima.
Oh boy,
yeah. She was a fan. I think that they were like kind of like wine coolery, and like they were quote unquote lame for people to drink.
Do they still make them? I guess they do.
I think that they had a resurgence like Four Loko, but it wasn't the same. Like it was. They brought them back, but the recipe or whatever was different.
You know what Zima was, basically? It was White Claw before White Claw.
You're right. That is the best, dude. That is the best fucking comparison.
White Claw just has the marketing, you know?
Yeah. And funnily enough, Mom loves White Claws too. Mom and Dad. My mom and dad, they fucking love those, dude.
Yeah.
But anyway. So they really start questioning Andrew about like the seal. They're like, dude, stop with all this bullshit backstory. Like, we don't need this. Just get to the part about the seal. And he's like, well, why'd you interrupt me? Like, we're just getting to the most important part. And so we go back to Mexico in this flashback. And because Andrew's like, Jonathan's just about to go to the bathroom. That's when stuff starts to really ramp up. So Jonathan goes to the bathroom in the flashback. And then Andrew's singing La Cucaracha. Because if you're in Mexico, when in Mexico?
When in Mexico, do the most stereotypical thing possible.
I'm surprised he didn't have like a gigantic mustache and a sombrero.
I do love when Jonathan says, I need to get the dictionario.
Yeah. And this is the first time that Andrew sees Warren. He turns around and Warren's there and he's like, oh, Jesus, what are you doing? And Warren's like...
It's not the first time he's seen
it's not the first time. Yeah, you're right. Because Warren's like, hey, did you get the knife? And Andrew's like, yeah, I got the knife. And Warren's like, let me see it. Let me see the knife. And Andrew's like... okay, I'll show it to you. It took like a little bit to get it, but like, it's fine. And he gets out the knife. He's like, look at it. It's so cool. And Warren's looking at the knife. And he's like, all right, yeah, that's the right knife. And then Andrew's like, but I don't think I can kill Jonathan. I don't really think I have it in me to do that. And Warren's like, dude, you totally have it in you to do that. And are you sure that we should be talking about this loud? Isn't he... he could be coming back at any time. And Andrew's like, no, he's a nervous peer. He's a shy peer. It's going to take him forever. Like, look, watch. Jonathan, you good in there, buddy? Yeah, stop talking. It's going to take longer. See, he's going to take a while.
Yeah, and see, I'm talking the same volume both times, and he can hear me well. Yep. So he should hear me talking to myself.
Yep. But then Warren's like, okay, good. So yeah, you have to kill Jonathan. And Andrew's like, so you promise that if I kill Jonathan, though, we will be able to live as gods? And Warren's like, I promise, like, once that's done, and then once you die, we'll be ascended to a bigger plane. We will live as gods. And this is where we get the most epic vision from Andrew. Andrew's like living as gods, and he turns to the camera, and the camera zooms in on Andrew, and we see what he's thinking. And it goes to this like meadowy field that's glowing. Andrew, Jonathan, and Warren are wearing togas. They have golden like little crowns.
I would say tunics.
They have tunics, yes. They have little harps. And Andrew is just singing, we are as gods, oh, we are as gods, oh, we are as gods.
This is where Buffy was. This is where Buffy was.
And they're just skipping through this meadow, frolicking. And then it comes out, and Andrew's like, oh, yeah, that's going to be so great to live as gods.
There were gold bars in the foreground, too.
Yeah.
As if currency is something that's needed there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Great little vision.
Yeah. And
very funny.
I think you can go weird with the Andrew stuff in this.
Yeah.
Like the storytelling thing in the beginning with he's in the chair and it has like Star Wars and Nietzsche and like all these books.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
So then it cuts back to real present day. And Willow's like, wait. Go back a little to that. Go back a little bit to that one part. And Andrew goes, what, this part? And it goes back to the we are as good. Fucking great.
Yeah.
Great comedic bit. And Willow's like, no. When Warren is talking to you about the knife, he says you must like plunge the words into him.
Yeah.
You must stab the words into him. And Andrew's like, yeah, I guess he did say that. And Willow's like, what does that mean? What does that mean? And then Andrew's like, well, it had some like writing on the knife or something.
Well, she's like, was there any writing on the knife? And he's like, I don't know. I think it was a design or something. I didn't think it was
thought it was like a little design. I don't know. And Willow's like, well, do you still have the knife? And he's like, oh yeah, it's. And she's like, well, look through his stuff. Go find that knife, Dawn. And he's like, oh, you don't need to look through my stuff. It's just in the drawer. And he's like, everyone's like, what? And he's like, yeah, I put it in the drawer with like the forks and knives. And they go, you put a murder weapon in with our utensils? And Andrew goes, I washed it.
This house is a mess.
Yeah, and then they just roll their eyes. And
I was like, Willow, you just put your gun in the room.
Right? The gun that you were about to kill your new lover with.
Yeah.
So they go and they fetch the blade. And they're like, yeah, it does have words on it. And then Willow's looking at it. She's like, I don't really know if I can make it out. I can't read this language. Andrew, do you know what it says? And Andrew's like, I don't know. Let me see. So they look at it. And he's like, actually, it's Tuareg demon language, and I can read it. And the seal, and then they kind of deduce that the seal and the knife are connected.
Yeah.
And
I just have to say, it's insane to me that he knows the language, knows how to read it, but previously said he thought it was just a design. That's as if you looked at a book and you saw words and you were like, oh, it must be some type of art.
Yeah.
You know how to read. It would automatically go to your brain as, like, that's the language. What does it say? Let's just have someone else in that room be able to read it, and he can't. And they also say, oh, you're the demon summoner. What are you? I was like, oh, yeah, he summons demons. You guys just let him walk around talking about how he might still be evil, but he can summon demons?
Yeah, they don't take him as a threat at all. Like, remember that episode where they were just about to leave him in the house alone?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll do something evil. They're like, oh, fine.
Being able to summon demons seems huge.
Well, also, remember when he was alone with Dawn and Dawn is threatening him? Like, Buffy told me I could kill you. It's like, bitch, I will summon a demon. Yeah. You don't have powers.
He summoned the demons that she had to fight at that construction site. They got her fired from her best job ever.
Yep.
And
I will say, of the three, Jonathan Warren and him in that episode, his was kind of the weakest.
Yeah, but he also did summon the one that injected her, that made her go crazy.
Mental hospital, yeah. He did do that.
He's got a thing.
Yeah, no.
But I just thought it was weird that he didn't know the like he just like, oh, I thought it was a design. Oh, this is a language I know. Oh, this is what it translates to. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
You washed this thing, you put it in the drawer, you kept the murder weapon of your best friend for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you've been using it to cut stuff?
Yeah, it's sharp.
That's some psycho shit, man. That's some psycho shit.
So he translates what the knife says, and it says, the blood which I spill will consecrate the oldest evil, or something like that.
The greatest evil, like, oldest. I wasn't really sure. One of those, but close enough, yeah.
But Willow is like, oh, God, that means that these are connected. I'm going to do some more research about this knife.
Google.
Yep. Click, clack, click, clack. Oh, that's what it means.
Yep.
Because Willow figures something out. She and Buffy return from the dining room, and they're like, Andrew, you're coming with us to the Hellmouth. Because apparently the seal responds to that language, and you're the one that knows the language, and you can talk to it, and maybe you can, like, tell it to stop. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit at the wall here. Maybe you can give it commands.
And this is the moment where Buffy says, I'm thinking about shutting down the school. They haven't shut the school down yet? A dude just blew up. A murder in a school should at least shut it down for 2 days.
Dude, my high school one time had a bomb threat, and it got shut down. This is like an actual child exploded.
Yes.
Yeah. Shut it down.
Man. Yeah.
But Andrew's like, I don't know if that's a good idea. I'm a little nervous about that. I don't know if I want to do that. And Buffy's like, shut up, you're coming. Hey, Robin and Spike, you're coming with me. And I thought that there was going to be like a little moment of like, I got to work with this guy. But they just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, all of a sudden,
tension's over.
All of a sudden, Robin's really cool with being around Spike.
Yeah,
After last episode.
There's not that tension of him like, he's a vampire.
Yeah, after last episode, it was like, where'd you get the coat? New York. Mommy.
Yeah.
But now he's just like standing next to Spike.
Yeah, in the coat.
Yeah. In
So,
the coat, like
my mom
straight up wearing his mom's coat.
Yep. It's like, man, my mom had good fashion sense.
It's like, how tall was my mom?
But so then they go to the high school, and as Buffy had predicted, a riot has broken out. There's just really mean graffiti all over it about like the chess club sucks and cheerleaders are whores or whatever, and I'm gonna kill all the cheerleaders, and just very violent stuff. And there's trash cans on fire. There's toilet paper all over the place.
It's like New York in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the 70s, maybe. Yeah. Which one was it?
It's basically they're an escape from New York.
Yes.
It's either New York in the 70s or New York in 2020.
It's like an 80s sci-fi movie. Like
Yeah.
A post-apocalyptic, like dystopian.
And they're like, oh my God, there's all these, this is bad. There might be some kids dead in here. And this is the time where Principal Wood is like, oh yeah, you'd probably like that, wouldn't you, Spike? So you can feast on some helpless kids. And Spike's like, no, dude, like what's up with you, man? Like, I'm a good guy now.
Here to help, guy. Like,
yeah. And Principal Wood's like, Hey,
don't get serious, Principal Wood. You were just riffing earlier. Now y'all, yeah.
Where'd you get that coat again? I told you, New York. What?
Do you want a coat? I'm sure we can find you another one. Like, I mean,
every vampire in the city has the same coat.
You should have seen what Angel wears all the time. Like,
yeah. If you want one so bad, just take it off before you dust it. Like,
let's hit the main street after this and go get you a coat.
I'll help you, man. I'll hold him back. I'll take it off of him.
I would love to see a Spike Principal Wood shopping montage.
Oh yeah. Girls just wanna have fun.
It could be like that scene in Clueless where she doesn't put the clothes on. She just puts it in front of her.
Yeah.
She just holds it up.
But Andrew is there too, and he's got his camcorder, and he's like going back and forth between Principal Wood and Spike. He's like, I don't know what it is, but there's something going on between Spike and Principal Wood. It's sexual tension you can cut with a knife.
And I'm the knife.
Yeah. And so then they see kids like running through the halls and rioting, and Principal Wood's like, man, this is really getting out of hand. I better not turn to face forward after telling this to all of you guys. You know what? Maybe I will. Turns to face forward. He just gets decked with a fire extinguisher. It's got that nice hollow, like, boom sound.
His face is broken and he's knocked out. Like, he got hit so hard.
Yeah, he would at least have a broken nose, black eye, maybe, or was it orbital?
Yeah, orbital
bone?
fracture. Yeah.
Yeah. Because as he stated, he's just a regular guy.
Yeah.
Handsome, cool, vampire slaying, sexy guy.
And as we get a line thrown off screen, it's like, they're powered by the Hellmouth. These kids are super strong now or something.
Yeah. And so this is when a fight breaks out. Mm-hmm. Buffy fights some kids. Principal Wood's fighting some kids. Andrew's like, oh no, is this how I'm going to die? Struck down before I can achieve redemption. And Buffy's fighting some kids. Spike's fighting some kids. Buffy tells Principal Wood and Spike to hold off the kids while she and Andrew go down to investigate the seal and do what they need to do.
Before that.
And
Before that, Spike is fighting a kid. Is fighting a student. And Buffy turns and says, Spike, don't kill them. They're just students. And in my note, I go, now Buffy wants Spike to hold back.
oh, right. And then Spike turns to her and he goes, they'll live. And he just fucking knocks this kid out.
Great acting by that kid to do the head whip and like fall. That was a great acting by him. Like that's the performance. Like that's an underrated performance by that extra stuntman kid person.
Yeah, that whoever that was nailed that. Like, whap, 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 whap.
Yeah, and then slumps down. Buffy was just saying, I want the person that fights. I want the monster that fights as hard as he fights. I want the previous one that tried to kill me when we first met.
You know, the one that came up to my house with a shotgun when my mom was having a tumor and then tried to rape me? Where's that guy?
But hey, guys, can you hold back and not kill them because they're just kids now? Like,
They're going to die tomorrow anyway. They're going to explode and have their guts all over you, and you're going to quip about it.
She said it almost as if Spike was planning to kill these kids too, which didn't even seem like he was. Like, it was just, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
What do you want, Buffy? Spike is in a weird relationship. It's like, what do you want? Do you want me to be a badass? Do you want me to like hold back? You just said you didn't want me to hold back last week when you yelled at me. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. So, Buffy and Andrew are going down to the seal. Principal Wood and Spike are about to fight a bunch of high school kids.
Do these high school kids remember that Buffy and their principal beat the shit out of them?
By the end of this, they don't. They don't. Because we'll talk about that later on. Yeah,
because that was ridiculous.
Yeah. But Principal Wood and Spike, when Buffy is like giving them that command, they aren't happy about it, but it's like it's not that they're not happy about it because they have to work together and there's tension between them. They're more like, oh, I gotta fight kids.
Yeah.
Like, I think the tension between Principal Wood and Spike was really good and palpable, but they're not playing it up here, I don't feel like.
I feel like it's not there, and then it's like, it seems like Principal Wood suddenly remembers that he hates Spike at certain times.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, oh, yeah, hey, we're hanging out. We got to do some stuff. Oh, you can barely stand. Oh, wait, he killed my mom. Whew, okay.
Yeah. Oh, wait, let me give him a dirty look.
Yeah.
And ask him a probing question.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, he did it.
Yeah.
Just, yeah. You know that.
Yeah. You want to kill the first evil first or think the first evil? What did he say? Thank you to the first evil when he finds out?
I know.
Yeah.
Dude, that line read too, when he says thank you.
What do you say?
I mentioned it on the podcast. Yeah. What do you say when someone gives you nice information? Thank you. Ugh. So Buffy and Andrew are going down to the basement. Andrew's still recording on his camcorder, and Buffy's getting annoyed, and she takes the camcorder away from him. She's like, no more. I told you to fucking stop this. We're not doing this. And Andrew's like, no, dude, like, it's important. I think that, don't you want people to know about your good deeds? And Buffy's like, no. And anyway, stop acting like we're friends and stop acting like you're this good guy now. You're a murderer. And Andrew's like, I am not a murderer. And then he explains that he saw Warren, and Warren was like convincing him to do all this stuff. And Warren was the first evil that was in his head. And we get a flashback of Warren convincing Andrew to kill Jonathan. And he's just standing there, and Warren's like, you got to kill him. And Andrew's like, no, I don't think I can do it. I can't go through with it. I can't go through and kill Jonathan. And Jonathan's there with his shovel. And he's like, you're going to kill me? What? This flashback also is like when they're on top of the seal and uncovering it. He's like, you're going to kill me? No, you're not. You're not going to kill me. And then Jonathan tries to attack Andrew, and he's trying to hit him with the shovel and stuff. And Andrew dodges and then basically kills Jonathan in self-defense.
It's like accidental tussling, the gun goes off kind of thing, but like with a knife instead of a gun.
Yeah, and then Jonathan falls to the ground, and Andrew looks up and does the classic, no! Looked up to the ceiling.
Yeah.
No, why must I do this? Oh, tragedy.
Yeah.
And he's explaining this to Buffy, and Buffy's like, and he's like, yeah, the seal possessed me and like was forcing me to do this in the first evil. And Buffy's like, oh, okay, yeah, I mean, that checks out. And Andrew's like, what? And Buffy's like, Yeah, that's what happened to. I was down here earlier with Principal Wood, and that exact same thing happened to him. So that checks out. And then Andrew decides, in all of his lunacy, that he's going to tell Buffy a reimagining of that exact same scene where it's like, oh yeah, that's the story now, is I was possessed by the seal and my eyes turned white and it made me evil, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, Jonathan, because the seal's taking over my body. And he stabs and he's like, murder, death, stab, and then he snaps out of it and he does another no to the ceiling again. And Buffy's like, we go back to the same, like, real time. And Buffy's like, you just changed the story.
Mm-hmm.
You had me, I believed you, and then you changed the story, and now I don't believe you.
I don't think she believed him when the first time he told
I feel like she did.
No, I think she was like, oh, so I think she was more like, oh, so it was like how Mr. Principal Woods got possessed.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, yeah, that was it. Like, I don't think she's like, oh, yeah, I completely believe you. Because then the ending that happens wouldn't happen. She never fully, I don't think she believed the first thing that he accidentally killed.
I don't like how this resolves itself.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you can have that, but I don't think she believed. I'm saying in this scene, I don't think she believed his first thing.
Right.
Also, to go back a little bit, when Buffy is going down the stairs and he's saying, this is important, we need to record you, Buffy says, what I do is too important to show the world. Is it though? What does that mean?
Yeah.
What you do is too important to show the world.
Yep.
What does that mean?
I have no idea.
I was just, I'm just lost with that. I don't know how to take that. Like, it's fine if you don't want to be recorded. You don't care about being on camera. That's not your personality. But what you do is too important.
Oh, yeah. Look, man. Characters gotta say lines.
There's reality shows about people working at weed shops. There's reality shows about doctors.
Yeah.
Like,
there's reality shows about housewives. There's a bajillion of those.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, what's an important tasks are recorded and documented too? Like, what do you? I don't know. I don't know. It seemed like that would be an interesting message to try to play with at some point. It's like, what is the? And I'm always still thinking, like, what is the burden of her being a slayer now? You know, like after what she just saw, what she just learned. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But I did like story, like, not storytelling, but just like TV show structuring wise, the fact that they showed two versions of Andrew's story here. Because if you don't remember how Andrew killed Jonathan the first time, you could see this accidental killing and be like, oh, was that how it happened? I haven't seen that. It's been like months, right?
Yeah.
But then you show, like, he makes up another version so you could tell that the first one's a lie. Because I was watching the first one, like, yeah, that definitely isn't how it happened. Like, are they doing a Giles's axe coming down, but it's not fully down moment to us?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, Andrew's the unreliable narrator. So that clarified that in the storytelling. So that was fun.
Yeah. So then Buffy and Andrew arrive at the room with the seal, and Buffy's like, there it is. It's right there. And they're about to go in, but they hear the students that were there earlier. They hear them chanting, and Buffy's like, wait. What's going on in there? And Andrew's like, I don't want to go in. I don't think we should go in there. And Buffy's like, we're going in. And then she just shoves Andrew in front of her, like, as a human shield, basically. I was like, dude, you want this guy to be here. What? But they go in and they see that the students have now become harbingers.
Does that mean that they're no longer alive? Were they harbingers when they walked in? Like, what does this mean? Now their eyes are blinded.
Their eyes are all sewed shut or whatever.
So are they people?
I think they are.
Remember, we're saying,
or did they go through some kind of transformative process through this through this chanting? They at least used to be people.
Spike, don't kill them. They're just students.
Spike, don't kill him. I killed 4 of them at a bus station picking up Rona, but
we were guarding the door and they all came out. You know, me and Woods were upstairs and all these harbingers came up.
dude. Buffy doesn't kill people though, Vance. So they can't be people.
She doesn't kill any of them here either in the scene.
Yeah, she just kind of knocks him out. But before that,
yeah.
we have a scene of Anya and Xander
Oh gosh.
post-coitus. They're lying in bed after they have banged it out.
In the basement.
In the basement.
In the training center.
We have seen that there's at least 15 to 20 people living here. Many of them are shacking up in the basement.
And we know that Dawn and Amanda are home from school and the other ones don't go to school.
Yep. But Xander and Anya took some time out to fuck in this basement. And if we know anything about Xander and Anya,
Shit was loud.
They go ham, yeah. They fuck hardcore.
Yeah.
And they're laying there and they're in the glow of after sex, and they're kind of looking at each other and like, that felt good, right? That was good. And Xander's like, yeah, I feel good. I feel good. Anya, how do you feel? And Anya's looking a little tense. She's a little like, and Anya's like, yeah, it was a good, but I knew that it felt like there would always be like, at least, a one more time. And then they kind of keep like nodding at each other and they're like, that was like a good one more time, huh? But I think that's all it was. I think that may have been the last time. I think we're kind of really over, which is good because now it means like we can move on. We got closure about this. And yeah, I feel like this is a moving on time. And Anya looks kind of relieved of like, this is a moving on time. But I feel like Xander doesn't look as really. Xander looks a little disappointed and sad about that.
I think they both kind of have a little sad. They're both being like, it's
bittersweet.
Like, yeah, it's one of those like, is this going to be the last time? Should we try to make a go at this again? It's left very open ended, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. I feel like that's it.
It probably should. It's one of those. I don't think they can get back together.
I mean, they got 6 episodes. I don't think they're gonna.
No, but it's like after what she did when she became a vengeance demon again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
But Xander left her at the altar. That's unforgivable, Vance. It's unforgivable.
Yeah. Who's worse? Who's worse, Xander or the guy who cheated on her that she turned into a troll?
The guy that cheated on her. Because in the moment, Xander thought he was acting in, and he still thinks that he acted in the best interest.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it was more heightened.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back, he's like, yeah, it was a little fucked up that I did that, but I still think that it was the right decision.
I still, if that guy did not show up and throw the visions at him, he would have got married that day. He would have had some doubts, but he would have got married that day if it wasn't for that. I thought he was just going to get cold feet, classic, like one woman the rest of my life. That I would have been like, okay, now you can just have at it with Xander if you hate him. But this was extenuating circumstances. They killed a demon at the wedding.
He was mentally manipulated by a demon that he had to later kill in the same room that they were supposed to get married. I will never fucking forgive that.
Well, you know what? If this season of Buffy had anything to say about it, she'd be like, Xander, you're just like Chloe. You're weak and you got manipulated. And if you don't go through with this wedding,
at least Chloe went through with it.
If you don't go through with this wedding, I'm going to bury you next to Jonathan and Annabelle and Chloe and this other headless demon.
You think Buffy and Principal Wood are going to have a conversation like, oh, that's where you bury bodies? Oh, I was burying them over here. Like,
yes. I'm going to say yes because tonally, that's how they've been reacting to stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good spot, actually. You mind if just in case, you know how it keeps saying like not all these motherfuckers are going to survive. You know, somebody's going to get buried.
I joked
out
about
here.
this on Discord, but I would love if this series ended with Buffy being known as the most prolific serial killer in Sunnydale.
Oh God. But anyway, yeah. So Xander and Anya, it seems like they're really over. They can move on now. They got 6 episodes to find love in other places. Anyway, unless you count the comics, in which case they got 5 more seasons or whatever.
Have you seen all the posts about the books?
Oh my God, yeah.
Are those all like sanctioned? Are those all like...
Yeah, I don't know if... Remember like Star Wars had a bunch of novelizations and now they're like considered quote unquote legends and they're not canon?
Oh man, yeah. There's much Buffy. There was so much Buffy that I did not know that existed in the world.
Same. Well, I think that Slither Ann was talking about how she had the one where Oz and Buffy fight a dinosaur or something.
That needs to be an episode.
Right? That's awesome.
Maybe that should happen. Maybe Oz comes back the second to last episode and it's just a dinosaur one.
And then like somebody else reposted about like the animated series again. Like looking back, that looked like so much fucking fun, man.
The animated series looked like it would have worked.
Yeah, that has legs, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this is a big universe, this Buffyverse. There's a lot of stories that have been told.
And I knew nothing of it.
Yeah. I don't know how canonical those books are though.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I mean, even how canonical are some of these seasons?
Yeah, true.
Some of these episodes aren't even canon.
I still think this is the visions of a mad woman in a mental hospital.
Buffy's like, I'm not crazy. Am I crazy?
That doctor is still writing down Buffy's. Okay, what else happens? So now there's a guy that's documenting this with a camcorder.
All right.
I don't know. I feel like season 7's kind of taking a turn, Joyce and Hank. Her visions are getting a little bit bad.
She's in a stage 7, season 7 psychosis.
Yeah. But anyway, so we go back to the high school and Spike is now, he grabs a plank of wood with like 10 nails sticking out of it. And he's like, gives it to Principal Wood. He's like, isn't this a little fucking hardcore? Maybe this could help us. I was like, what?
Yeah, did he ask like, how did they make this or something? Like, what was his? It was something weird. Man. Yeah.
But then a student starts attacking Spike, and then another student starts attacking Principal Wood, and they fight off the kids. And the wooden spiky thing like breaks in half, and Principal Wood leans down and he picks up like the wooden part that has just fastened very nicely into a stake.
A perfectly shaped wooden stake.
Yep.
Like every piece of wood in this world breaks into a pointy, sharp vampire killing weapon. Except for when Dawn tries to break the flagpole over her knee.
Oh, yeah. So Principal Wood leans down and he grabs that nice little wooden stake, and Spike's got his back turned to Principal Wood. And Principal Wood's like, now's my fucking chance. And he goes over and he's about to stake Spike. And just as he's about to do it, a student tackles Principal Wood and thwarts his revenge.
One, I don't think he could have gotten that stake through that leather jacket, through his back to his heart. It wasn't that pointy.
Yeah, and Spike is one of the main characters too.
So he
has to be pinpoint accurate.
I saw a picture of Pangs, of him with all the arrows in them from Pangs the other day. They were so close.
Oh, dude. Speaking of Pangs, I was thinking about Pangs after we were done recording last week about how Buffy's a colonizer. And how we needed Willow to really, after they saw that demons inherited the earth before man.
Yeah.
We needed Willow to be like, oh my God, we're the colonizers. Buffy, we should all kill ourselves because humans are evil.
Oh, yeah.
The demons should be taking their revenge, Buffy. They should be doing that.
Willow would have said that if she wasn't too busy flirting with Kennedy during Buffy's speech.
Yeah.
When Buffy's like telling him, okay, this is a vision I saw from the Shadow Man. And Willow's like, I can't wait to get to the couch in front of those windows that Xander fixed so we can make out.
Willow was in the room when they were doing the Shadowcaster. She should have had that moment of like, oh my God, we're colonizers.
Oh yeah,
I hate colonizers. We shouldn't have taken the demon's land. We shouldn't have done that.
Where is Giles?
Right?
Have they thrown a line out there that Giles is on a something? He's just not even mentioned.
Yeah.
Absentee dad, man. Just another father figure just walking away from the Summers girls.
Yeah.
I hope Buffy's dad shows up in the finale.
Oh, I hope so too.
But
oh, that'd be so good.
But Principal Wood remembers that he doesn't like Spike.
Yeah.
After they've been fighting together and having conversations, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I want to kill this guy." It's gonna be so unsatisfying. I thought he would want to like kill him and capture him, torture him, interview him. You know, like really do some stuff, not like dust.
Probable ball stuff.
Probable ball stuff. Man. Probable ball stuff. That's what Andrew wants to do with Spike.
Yeah. And Xander's windows.
Oh my God. So it's gonna be like Love Actually. When they're like, hey, can we see the footage? I'm not done editing it yet. And it's all just close-ups of Xander and Spike.
If you want to know about that, patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy. We reviewed Love Actually for Boys Watching Movies, so check that out. But we go back to Buffy fighting the kids that are now the Harbingers in the basement, and she's like duking it out with them. And this is Andrew's like, oh, I gotta get my camcorder. I gotta fucking record this. And Buffy finishes beating up all these kids, knocks them all out, and then Buffy turns to Andrew. And she looks right into the camera and she goes, it's your turn, Andrew. And she pulls out the knife. Mm-hmm. And Andrew's like, what? What? And then she starts like stalking Andrew, and they were like walking around the seal. Mm-hmm. And Buffy's like, yeah, Willow and I did some research, and you did open the seal by spilling blood on top of it. We found out that the blood of the person who woke the seal up reverses the whole thing, according to Willow. And Andrew's like, oh my God, you're going to kill me? Please don't kill me. And Buffy, he's like, it didn't do anything. I'm not even that evil. And then Buffy goes, stop telling stories, Andrew. This isn't a story that you can just tell. This is real life. And Andrew starts like begging for his life, and he's like, I didn't even do anything. Warren made me do it. I lost a friend in this. I lost my best friend. And then Buffy goes, you didn't lose him. You murdered him. And then Andrew begs for his life some more. And Buffy's like, we're going to get through it. And Buffy says that Andrew's like making this whole thing up, and she's I'm getting a little confused about like what she's saying here, because she's like,
I didn't write it all down.
She's saying like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm making it up as I go along. So what kind of fucking hero does that make me? Or something like that.
That's like the life is not a story part.
Yeah.
Life is not a story. I'm making stuff up as I go, and blah blah blah. And that's the story. And then it's like I have to take some of your blood to solve this. And he's like, how much blood? And she's like, I don't know. Might kill. All girls are gonna die. I might even die. You're gonna die.
Well, she says enough blood, it won't kill you, but it'll be a lot of blood. And she says something about how like she's tired of giving rah-rah speeches about how people are all gonna die, or about how we're all gonna live, because we won't. And this isn't a story where good triumphs and good people come out on top. Good people are going to die. Good people have already died. And when your blood pours out, it might save the world. And she just like grabs Andrew at this point, and she's like leaning him over the seal. and Andrew's crying. And he's like, please, I don't want to die. I fucking don't want to die. And Buffy takes out the knife and she's like, this is just how it has to be. And this is where we get an emotional, poignant moment from Andrew where he finally admits, he's like, look, all right, fine. I can't believe I'm going to die. And I guess this is how I have to redeem myself, is I need to die. But I killed my best friend. I did it. I knew that Warren wasn't really there. And I know that Warren wasn't commanding me. It was something else. And I'm scared. And I'm scared that I'm going to die. And oh my God, must have been what Jonathan felt. And he starts crying. And the tears roll down his face. And then they fall onto the seal, which has been glowing this whole time. And the tears fall onto the seal. And it deactivates the seal. It stops glowing. And he's like, oh my God. Buffy, I don't need to die. I don't need to die. Please, it's not glowing anymore. And then Buffy kind of like looks at him in this little cheeky kind of smirk. And she's like, the seal didn't want blood. It wanted tears. And she wasn't going to actually stab Andrew. And then Andrew goes, well, what if the tears didn't work? And then Buffy just kind of like gives him a look. And then walks away. And then Andrew's left there like, holy shit. And then he starts to chase after Buffy, grabs his camcorder, and he walks out of the room. How did you feel about this? Because this is where I have some nitpicks.
Yeah, I do have some issues here.
I'm going to lay out a little bit of an argument that I've been talking about for a while, is that everyone's talking about Andrew being a murderer. And it seems like they're just wiping past like how Katrina. They're wiping past that. They're focusing in on he murdered Jonathan.
Yes.
And Buffy is like,
or
really
tried to murder her multiple times.
Well, yeah.
Like, Buffy, he has tried to kill you a bunch.
I mean, so has everybody. I mean, come on. But
Dawn
really focusing in.
Dawn hasn't tried to kill her, I don't think.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I think you're right. But anyway, they're really focusing on, they want Andrew to admit that he killed Jonathan. And Andrew is like, okay, fine. I didn't think that Warren was really there. But do you think Spike, when he was seeing himself, thought that was really there? Like when he was murdering people? Like Andrew was being manipulated by the first evil.
Yeah, I do think it's weird for him to be like, I kind of knew Warren wasn't really there. And I did. Like now I'm like, why did you do this?
Yeah.
Like if it's that line in the admission. Like I understand wanting to kind of disassociate that you killed your best friend and kind of be like, okay, I didn't just get tricked so poorly. You know what I mean? I didn't just get tricked so badly and make a mistake. I was manipulated more. It was nothing I could do about it. You like I didn't even want to kill him. He wrestled me. I understand all that, right?
Yeah.
But for him to say, oh, I didn't believe that was actually the Warren that I was talking about. I didn't actually believe that if I killed him, I would go to like some heaven thing. Then it's like, why did you journey from Mexico to Sunnydale to stab him if you didn't believe that this was what was actually happening?
Yeah.
That one line just makes it like, wait, so what?
Yeah. And I don't understand how Buffy is so forgiving of other people being manipulated by the first evil, but not Andrew. She doesn't believe that he was manipulated at all. And even though he's like admitting like, okay, I know that Warren wasn't really there, he still was seeing that shit.
Yeah. The first evil just tried to get him to kill all the girls in the house, and he didn't.
Yeah.
And instead teamed up with Willow to do a dumb plan, but still, that's a bold one. He had opportunity. He had access to a gun and a house full of girls while Buffy wasn't around and didn't kill them. That's a moment where you trust him more than you trust a vampire who bit Andrew on the neck.
Yeah. I'm just like, I don't really know what they're going for with the whole Andrew.
They just want
thing.
a little redemption for him, but I don't think he needs a redemptive arc like this. But I think him crying and being near Buffy's like, all right, you've made your
also,
thing.
what was that look when he says, what was it? What if the tears didn't work?
I like when Buffy is a psycho killer person. Like I liked the look that Buffy gave when Spike was biting that girl on the street, the first evil Buffy, when she's like, yeah, let's become like a murderous team together. Because she doesn't get to do that a lot. But I think she's good at it. But she's
like Cruel Intentions is so good.
Yeah. So I thought it was I was like, if she really does have to kill him to close this thing, I could see people really hating this season.
I thought it was going to be a thing where she just like cuts his palm and he needs like 2 drops of blood on there.
Here's my question. What did they do to open the seal? Like, how did they open it the first time? Because Jonathan's blood wasn't enough, apparently.
They opened the seal with Spike, remember?
But did they use
when he was tied up to that wheel thing? And
they didn't use the same blade.
No, I don't think they did. And then Lissa had a different blade. Yeah. I think once the seal has been opened with the blade, you can just use any fucking blade.
But they used the blade on Jonathan, but it didn't open it. And then Spike is what ended up opening it.
Yeah, and they were also going to try to kill a pig.
Does Spike work now because he has a soul? Because I remember Glory couldn't use Spike because he was a vampire. And she was like, I can't do anything with this fucking thing. He can't even be a key. Or she was like, he can't be a key because vampires can't be that.
Yeah. Also, Andrew was still seeing visions of Warren after he killed Jonathan. Like, because remember, Warren was trying to convince him to kill that pig.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Yeah, that Warren line, the Warren line is weird. Him saying, I knew it wasn't Warren is a weird line to have in there. Because now they're saying, oh, you just did this because you're a crazy psychopath evil. But it's like, he did have a weird relationship with Warren.
Yeah. He did like kind of love him, maybe?
He was like a subservient person to Warren, and Warren came back. And so, like, how would he, like, I don't know, how would he know, like, Ghost Warren isn't something else? I don't know. You fought Willow, who was floating at one point.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know his motive. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I don't what it was his motive then. Just to kill?
Yeah, just to go all the way back to Sunnydale to kill. Like, you had to think something was going to happen.
Well, and also when Willow turned into Warren, he was so happy. He was like, you're not gonna get my mind again. You're not gonna convince me to be evil. And then it's like, no, I'm really here. Yeah. And then he reacts. He's like, oh my God, you're back. And he hugs him.
Yeah, I think they can just change the dialogue and his admission. It's like, I did it. I shouldn't have done it. I should have been smarter. I should have known it wasn't it. But it was like, just feel bad about what you did versus, I knew all along that it wasn't that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like so far he hasn't really felt bad. He was just kind of like, I was manipulated.
He hasn't cried over killing his best friend.
Yeah. Make
it more cathartic than admission. Like, he does not need to admit this for Buffy's sake. That's the thing that seems weird.
Yeah, I just think that whole reasoning is a little shaky.
You know what it feels like? It feels like the fairy tale ending with the Warren kiss. The kiss. We get a kiss that turns Willow back into Willow. We get a tear that closes something that's not open.
Is that seal like actually closed now? Because
I don't know.
That's all it needed? And is that not a factor anymore?
And if that's all that's needed, like that whole thing of, oh my God, the Terracons are coming last episode, is that just done now?
Yeah. Just get fucking Warren to watch, or Andrew to watch the opening scene of Up in front of it, and you fucking get more tears. You really need to
punch him in the face. He'll start crying.
Tell him to go watch, A Walk to Remember or something. I don't know.
This episode needed to end with them melting down that knife.
Yeah.
Right?
Have Xander go tell him that he's never going to get with him. Stop looking at my windows. Why, Xander? Why?
I'll tell you nothing, Carpenter.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got to melt that knife down. That knife is the key to opening the whole thing.
Yeah.
If this closed it, which we don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
So that's kind of how that resolves itself. Andrew grabs his camcorder, and then we go back upstairs to the Principal Wood and Spike fighting the students. And the students stop fighting. Mm-hmm. And then Principal Wood and Spike look at each other and they're kind of like, oh, they must have broke the spell. And then you hear chatter from the students, and they're going, "Whoa, what's going on? Where am I? What's happening? What is this?" And I was like, were they just wake up in the school on fire?
Was that in
Principal Wood?
Was that what the captions were saying? Because I didn't hear that.
Yeah, the closed captions said that the students in the background were saying, like, what's going on? Where am I?
Like, I just remember they were being surrounded, like Wood and Spike, and they were just surrounded. And then all of a sudden they were like, huh, the student just snapped to and just walked away. And like, not just like turned and walked away, like crossing and almost bumping into each other, walking away.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wait, what? Are they conscious now?
Yeah. None of them stuck to ask, like, Principal Wood, what are you, what? None of them stuck around to ask questions. They all just immediately scattered like roaches.
And like, is school closed tomorrow? Because obviously this is not going to be fixed, right? Like, this is, the school's on fire.
I mean, it takes a while to paint over graffiti that says cheerleaders or whores or whatever.
You would know, right?
Oh, yeah.
From personal experience.
Yeah. Takes a while, man. There's a lot of graffiti in that hallway.
Yeah, this is season 1 level school damage.
Mm-hmm.
Season 1 of the show.
Dude, when Cordelia drove a car through the fucking... That was insane.
I forgot she drove a car through the school.
She broke the wall, dude.
What was that school made out of that her car could break through the wall?
It's made of cardboard and then also the most sturdy materials ever.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. God. I don't understand the parents. What are the parents like? Hey, what's going on at that school? Oh yeah, some kid blew up today. Another girl almost turned invisible. The mirrors are talking to us. No, eat your oatmeal and go to school.
Yeah, I gotta go up to my room though because I still have homework because school is still open tomorrow.
And they're in California. They don't even get snow days.
Right.
Man.
But yeah. Principal Wood and Spike, they're happy. Buffy got it done. I knew she would. Yeah. Buffy rules. Yeah.
Did you try to stab me in the back earlier?
I feel like I may have heard something with my super senses that I have, except when I don't.
Yeah. Whenever someone needs to sneak up on me. Yeah.
So we go back to the Summers house, and Andrew has his camcorder, and he's recording at home. And he's talking into the camera, and he confesses, I murdered my best friend. I'm really worried that I'm not, there's a war coming, and I'm worried that I'm not going to live through it. But that's probably how it should be, to be honest with you. Like, I fucked up. I feel bad about everything that I've done. And if that's my redemption arc, I guess that's what it has to be. And then he stops recording. And that's the end of the episode. But you stick around for the end credits where the grr are. And the grr are is singing, "We are gods, we are gods." So we did stick around for it.
We stuck around for it.
People that told us to stick around.
Yeah, he says he might not live through the fight or whatever. Might not live through this.
That is a clue that I feel like he is going to
live through it.
He's going to absolutely live through it, and he's going to play a pivotal role in defeating something.
Buffy's like, you have to cry on the seal to become a Scoobie. This is your initiation. You have been hazed.
Couldn't they have just slept with Willow? It seems how everybody else gets into the Scooby gang. Or Xander. I'll fuck Xander.
Or Spike or whatever vampire.
Or you. I'll fuck anybody. I swear. Anya became a Scoob because she fucked Xander. Yeah. Tara became a Scoob because she fucked Willow. Kennedy became a Scoob because she fucked Willow. Spike became a Scoob because he fucked you. Angel became a Scoob because he fucked you. Riley became a Scoob because he fucked you. That's the way to the top, right? I'll just throw something in front of me. I'll suck it. I'll lick it. I'll do anything. Why do I have to cry?
He puts on his Hugh Hefner robe and just bursts in the room. It's like, who wants it?
Giles is at the other end of the room. It is I.
Giles is like, I haven't fucked any of these people to be a Scoob.
Not yet.
Not yet. Still time.
That's what he's doing with the potential Slayer. That's why it's been off screen for 2 episodes.
What? No line about him just being missing.
Yep.
Hey, you guys need to lock down and focus. We got a big battle. By the way, I got to go on a golf trip.
Robson's having his poker night. I gotta fly back to England real quick.
Oh man, what is he doing on a flight?
That's the episode.
Flight to China.
I liked it. I thought it was a fun episode. Odd placement in the season. This could have been before Get It Done.
Yeah, it's a tonal shift for the season that I don't think it's here.
Yeah.
I think you can do little moments in there. I don't think we also needed an Andrew complete episode. I know our girl Jane loves him.
I feel like this is a reaction to the fans liking him a lot, and then they're like, "Oh God, we got fucking yeah, sure, let's give him too much of a good thing, I guess."
Yeah, I mean, we only have 7 episodes left of real estate for the season, so I guess. And then they closed up the seal or something. Like, what did that mean? Did they solve the problem?
Yeah, I don't know. Watch the last 6 episodes just be them frolicking and having dates again.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does that put an end to Buffy's vision about the Turok Han?
That's what I'm saying.
Is that it? And all she had to do was get Andrew to cry on it. She was so worried.
They had been sitting on him. They have rescued. They rescued Xander from opening that portal, that seal again, right? Mm-hmm. And now they're like, oh, you know what? Kid blew up in school. We should probably figure out something about this seal. It's like, why'd you wait so long? Andrew has been living in your house this whole time.
Yep.
You guys haven't been asking him questions? You just been having to make funnel cake and big boards? No one's sitting down and asking him stuff? It's just, I don't know. So. He didn't read the knife that he uses. He didn't realize that it said a different language.
Yeah, he wasn't taking a poop and reading the back of stuff. And he's like, I guess I should read this knife. Let me see what this is all about. What were those engravings on there? Remember back in the day before cell phones, you just read the back of a shampoo bottle.
Yeah. Oh, man. Loved it. Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, that's Storyteller. Got anything else to say about it?
No, I mean, it's stuff that's fun in it, but it's just we're at the end game, and I kind of just wanted more. I wanted a different follow-up from what we had last episode. This is not what I wanted after what was revealed after last episode. And that is what hampers the episode for me.
Yeah, Get It Done felt like a turning point, and this felt like a detour.
Mm-hmm.
So, next episode is titled Lies My Parents Told Me. I'm thinking this is going to be Buffy more talking about to the potentials, she's going to actually reveal you're not all going to survive. I'm not going to lie to you type of thing.
She's already said that to him. They already know it.
Well, only 3 of them did that were in the room. The important ones. The ones that have names.
the named ones. And
I was about to say the ones that have personalities, but I wouldn't even go that far.
No. I'm going to say this either has Buffy's dad comes back, or this is a Dawn dealing with the whole Joyce fallout thing.
Oh, fuck. I didn't even think of that. That's a good prediction. Yeah, that's good. All right. Well, that's a wrap, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Hop on Discord. Let us know what you thought about the episode, what's going on with Buffy, what you thought about the podcast episode, or anything else. We were debating which fruits were best on Discord the other day. So have at it, man. Just fucking do whatever. Sign up for our Patreon, patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy, where we're doing Boys Watching Angel, Boys Watching Movies, Joe's Fashion Report /Corner. Fun times ahead with those. For a summer catch episode coming out. Instagram @Boys Watching Buffy. Gmail is boyswatchingbuffy@gmail.com. If you want to get a shout out, Apple Podcast 5-star rating and review, Spotify 5-star ratings, take a screenshot of it, send it in to us. We'll shout you out. Get us something from the wish list. We got merch that exists. And yeah, that's a wrap. Stay tuned next time for when we talk about lies my parents told me.
Wait a second. Go back. What was that part again?
You mean this part?
We are as gone.
Not that part.
Seltzer Kings
Podcasts.